Hello. So it's been, I'm not sure exactly how many days since I did a live stream, but the last one I did was called Do More Nothing. And the reason why I called it that was because I thought that, well, I went into this whole idea of nothingness. I won't get into the whole thing all over again. But I took my own advice to some degree, and I stopped making videos for a little bit so that I could kind of check in with myself and make sure that the videos that I was doing were emerging from the place that I hoped that they would emerge from. Because my intention, as I said before, is that if I'm going to do this, that I want it to be something that contributes to a positive impact um, in history, to be a positive evolutionary moment in history. That's why I'm doing these videos. That's pretty much why I do everything that I do, because I'm hoping that at least for the time that I have influence in this world, that I'm doing something that's contributing to the betterment of my life, the betterment of my family's life, and the betterment of the society that I'm a part of. This time, I want to talk about something called total responsibility. And, in this season, where we're really trying to figure out, the situation that we find ourselves in, it's a lot easier, it seems a lot easier to figure out who's to blame. Who's the person that made the mistakes that got us into the situation that we are in? And I say, at least for myself, I point the finger at me. Now, it might not make sense on the surface for me to say that I'm pointing the finger at me because obviously I didn't create COVID 19. I didn't create the responses that have been coming out in our country, in other places. I haven't done a lot of those things. If you want to go around using that concept of blame and trying to figure out whose fault it is, but I am responsible for how I respond to everything that has happened in my life. And so a long time ago, I decided after growing up in certain situations and stuff, I decided I wanted to take absolute responsibility for my life. I didn't want to blame anybody for anything. I didn't care the stuff, whatever I've been through, or anything. I just wanted to take total responsibility. So I started to ask myself, what if I chose this situation in my life? And I talked about this before, and I think it's worth repeating. Like we live in a society where clearly there's things like racism in our society, and obviously I'm not going to try to create racism for myself to go through. But I decided, what if I just say this to myself as an exercise? What if I chose it? What if I chose to be born in a country where there's systems like racism? What if I chose to grow up in a situation with my single mom and not have my dad around? What lessons could I learn from that situation if I designed it that way? And right now I'm asking myself, what if I chose to be born in the time of COVID? And what if I chose to be in this situation and to learn something from it? And what can I take from those lessons? And that's where I'm coming up with the idea of total responsibility. I don't expect every person to do that, but that's how I'm dealing with it. And so in dealing with that this way, I'm asking myself, what can I learn from this to make me a better person had I chosen this as my school, my way of learning? So I'm not going to blame, like, the dude who they say runs the country. I'm not going to blame him. I'm not going to blame politicians. I'm not going to blame anybody, because at the end of the day, whatever I encounter in the world, I have a choice on how I deal with it. And so that's what I'm dealing with right now. And so when I took that pause from making those videos for, however many days it's been, I wanted to check in with myself to make sure that I wasn't creating them just out of this sense of I gotta do something. I'm feeling anxious and I gotta create something so that I don't feel anxious. I wanted to do something that I feel is of substance. And so some of you who've been up here, that I did a video interview with a guy who has this idea for universal basic income. And I did it because I really believe that we need to change the economic system that we've been living under for a long time, that it's got to change. And I'm not a senator. I'm not a congressman or anything like that. I'm not president of the United States, but I can still take responsibility by getting that word out there. And then in the coming weeks, I'll talk to some of my friends who have done a lot of interesting things about doing some little interviews up here and telling some of you guys what it is that they've learned by taking responsibility in their own lives and just creating things. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to do little videos like this as I feel inspired, but I'm also going to bring on other people who might be able to express something better than I can, or articulate something to y'all better than I can. And then hopefully by adding that into our little community here, you guys, maybe some of you guys will want to get up here and we'll do a little interview together and talk about some things, whatever it is. But I want to do something that changes from out of this experience that we're going through with COVID-19. Because I think the worst thing that can happen is if we try to figure out how to get back to the way things were as soon as possible. Because stuff was whack before this happened. And a lot of what we're witnessing is the reality that a lot of stuff was broken. A lot of stuff is broken. And so this is an opportunity, I think, for us to figure out what's broken, figure out how we can fix it. And if you feel something in the society that's messed up, or something in your community that's messed up, and you wish it was different, and you have this time right now, I'm inviting you to take total responsibility and ask yourself, what can you do to add to that betterment of the society so that we emerge from this better off than we came into it. The last couple of things I'll say is I was in a conversation with some people this morning on Zoom, and we were talking about the social disparities and the different things that have been lifted up as a result of COVID-19. And had we been paying attention to a lot of these things prior to this happening, there wouldn't be some of the levels of devastation that are going to be generationally affected. But that doesn't mean we can't change things. That doesn't mean we can't have new conversations. So anyway, that's the invitation for today, to take total responsibility if you want to ask yourself, why would I choose to be born in a time with COVID-19? And then whatever comes up for you, do something about it. So that's the invitation. Hope you got something out of it. If you didn't, I'll do better next time because I'm trying to improve. Take care. God bless.